Let's go ahead and move on. We got only two topics left, and I'm sure we want to get to this Snake Eyes trailer. I don't even know what time it's going to drop, but this right here is very, very upsetting to me. I am, I'm really scared, to be honest with you guys. But I said this sucks because it just does. Disney has had great leadership for the past 10 years or so. But Bob Iger is leaving, and we got this new dude, Bob Chapek, coming through. Trading out Bob Iger for Bob Chapek. And I got the report right here. It says Disney's New World Order leads to confusion and bruised egos. And guys, again, if you're watching this in the live chat, please give me that thumbs up. There's a link to this article in the description box, and please read it because it's quite good and it's quite telling. But the beginning says the Walt Disney Company is in throes of a major leadership shift, with newly minted CEO Bob Chapek asserting more authority as the longtime leader. He replaced Bob Iger, prepares to surrender his executive chairman role for emeritus status at year end. That means current. The two men's once warm relationship has grown strained, according to 4 insiders. This comes as Chapek has overseen a 2020 reorganization that centralized the media's company content distribution and ad sales. At the corporate level, Iger has moved much more into the background than he was a few months ago, even on the creative side, insiders say. In a sign of leadership transfer taking place, Chapek has not only joined Iger in creative meetings, but actually convened some of this spring with top creative teams in television under Peter Rice and Dana Walden. Again, guys, I do want you to check this out below. It's a very long article, but basically what it's saying is nobody is happy at Disney right now. That under this new leadership, Chapek is just coming in and adding new unnecessary levels of management. He was trying to streamline the creative process across all platforms, but he is making it even harder. More control is being given to the executives than the creators, which is a horrible idea, in my opinion. And it's just, nobody's happy, and people's responsibilities are being taken away, and they are just confused as hell, and it's really unfortunate. And he says everyone is becoming more and more differential to Chapek, according to one Disney executive who asked not to be identified. Things are radically different than they were 6 months ago. The insider noted that senior leaders have tried to insulate the creative teams from all the upheaval. Larry, I mentioned this to you guys early in the week, man, and I'm really concerned about this. But how are you feeling about this new leadership and Bob Chapek, making everything convoluted unnecessarily?
Honestly, man, I think this is one of those stories that's a non-story.
Really?
I mean, yeah, I think it's just one of those things where it's like if you're going to leave a company, whether it's going to be a small one or a large one, and Disney being one of the largest, Fortune 500 companies out there, I mean, you're a type A personality, you're an alpha, and you're going to have to end up going in there and doing your own thing. You're going to go in there and you're going to run the company the way you want the company run. That's why they put you in that leadership position. They didn't put you in there to be, to be someone's lapdog. They put you in there to run this company the way you think it's going to run best. And the reason why they see him as the best person to take this company moving forward is because they recognize that things are changing. They recognize that the way people are marketing is changing, the way advertising is changing, the way streaming is changing things, the way different business models are maybe changing up as far as content creation, all the way to to distribution. All that stuff is changing. And so, yeah, people, when you bring in new leadership, people are going to get their feathers ruffled. People are going to be, I don't know if you've been through it. I've been through it where I've been at a company and there's been management change and people get all bent out of shape. Oh, we didn't used to do it like that. We used to do it like this. And they have to tell you, that's not how we're doing it anymore. That may be how your old manager or your old boss or your old CEO did it. That's not how we're doing it anymore. We're changing things up. So you can either get with the program or you can get out and we'll get somebody in here that will get with the program, And that's basically what it has to come down to, is that sometimes some people can't stay. Some people have to go. Some people are going to be, I'm confused. I used to do it like this, and now they're telling me not to do it like this. You're right. There's no confusion. You don't need to. You're not confused. You don't like it. That's all it is. It's not confusion. It's you being upset about it because you don't like it. But the fact of the matter is, they want you to do something different. So do it different.
I kind of see what you're saying, Larry. That is true, because the article does say bruise egos, and nobody's gonna like it if you do have responsibility and it's taken away. But universally, if people are confused, and also that's not a good thing. You never want people under you to be confused. You want them to be happy. Another thing is why are you adding extra layers of management, and for what? Another thing is, I don't think the executive, look, we all know that this is a business, P&L, profit and loss, you always want to make money. But I don't think that the executives should be in charge of the creative process. That's why Warner Brothers is in a crap storm right now as well. That's why Kevin Tusher-Howard was booted out, because he didn't have any idea on how to make a film and put a 2-hour mandate on the Justice League, and that pigeonholed the creative process. And we all know how that turned out. So let the creators lead, as Bob Iger was doing. Hold on,
we had that already.
Let me finish. Let the creatives lead the process, make their product, and then if it doesn't make business sense, you can make adjustments then. But if you come in and say, okay, it has to be 1 hour and 45 minutes. We have to have 7 women and 6 men. We have to have this person say this, because that just never works in my opinion. And Bob Iger and Alan Horn, like Bob Iger. So Bob Chapek is the current CEO of Disney. Bob Iger was the CEO, but he had more power because he was also like chairman of the board. And he brought in Alan Horn. And the article states that back in like 2011, 2012, they had flops with John Carter and The Lone Ranger. Those movies lost hundreds of millions of dollars. And Alan Horn came in and saved the day for the past 9 years. So at the end of this year, he's leaving, as well as Alan Horn, and they says that nobody's going to be replacing that. So why, if Bob Chapek wants to go in the complete opposite direction of their vision and bring in more stuff after he already saved the day, to me, that's just extremely problematic, and it's just going to cause problems. I personally just don't want them to mess up my Marvel movies. But Elliot, how you feeling about all this?
A little bit of column A, column B. I agree with a little bit of both of what you guys said. And to Larry's point, Bob has been working with Disney for the last 26 years. And he was 2011, he was assigned to merchandising when the acquisition of Star Wars came into place. He brought all the merchandise to Disney with the acquisition there. So he's familiar with the brand. And then he's been running the Disney parks for the last 6 years, and all with Marvel, Disney, Pixar, anything Disney, the number one profitable thing that Disney has is their parks. So, this, like Larry said, this guy, they don't just give this guy a position. He's been with Disney for a while. He's been handling some pretty big stuff. So to Larry's point, he knows what he's doing in some cases. So it might sound like, again, and keep in mind that Bob was brought into this Disney position, the CEO, during a pandemic, getting in someone out that was in the business for a while. So it's a transitional thing that, like you just mentioned in the article, there's bruised egos. There's still people transitioning, working from home, and maybe getting back to working back in the office. So it's a tough time to kind of come in and being the CEO of the biggest, corporate entertainment industry in the business. So I think Bob, right now, he's ruffling some feathers, obviously, because people have been kind of set in their ways. But again, you don't just bring in someone that's been familiar with the brand for 26 years and handled the parks and handled the merchandising. I think it's just going to take a little bit of just, figuring things out. And I don't think we're dealing with Warner Brothers here by any means. But I think we need to give Bob a little bit more opportunity just to kind of, see what the plan is. And if it doesn't work, obviously make adjustments. But I think, again, 26 years doesn't just get you, where he's in his position now. So I think we'll be fine.
I'm also more in the vein of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. And to me,
here's the thing, though. Go ahead, boss. My bad, Brandon.
No, you good. You good. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think it was Occam's Truth and Wisdom said, "What if the older way is much better and profitable?" Here's the thing. Oftentimes people think, "Oh, it's not broke, don't fix it," but what you could be doing is leaving a lot of money on the table. And people thought, what's his name? Tim Cook. He doesn't have as much pizzazz. He's not as excited. People aren't as excited to see him as they were with what's his name? Dude that died from cancer. You can't remember his name now. The Apple dude.
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. People say, "Oh, he's not Steve Jobs." Blah blah blah. But guess what? When Steve Jobs was running Apple, Steve Jobs had Apple at like, I believe it was a $600 or $700 million company. Tim Cook today has taken Apple to a $2 trillion company. So just because something is working and it's profitable doesn't mean that it can't be better. So this guy may be saying, okay, well, it's a great company. It's making good money, but we can make it better. We can make it bigger and we can make it better. And I'm all about that. I mean, somebody that comes from the merchandising side, let's not forget that what's his name? George Lucas, dude is a basically as rich as he is, because when they came out with the first Star Wars, people didn't even understand merchandising. He came in and said, "Oh, I'll take less money. I just want the merchandising." They were like, "Merchandise? Sure, you can have that." Mm-hmm. And the next thing you know, you have Star Wars, action figures, Star Wars underwear, Star Wars Slurpee cups at 7-Eleven. I mean, they had all this stuff, and that was all his. And so, the guy's coming from an area that he understands, merchandising and marketing and advertising, and he wants to bring all that in, and I think in a very different way than Iger has done in the past. And I just think it's just a matter of time. I mean, look at Google. Google's one of the largest, most profitable companies in the world, and they don't sell anything really. I mean, not on the consumer side. All that stuff is given away free. They make all their money off advertising. It's the same thing with Facebook. They make their money off advertising. So if this guy's coming in talking about changing the way they do advertising, changing the way they do marketing, changing the way they do merchandising, I say give it a shot and see what happens. And I just think because something is working doesn't mean that it can't work better.
I'm going to be honest with both of y'all. I'm going to be brutally honest. I made some good points. I made some good points. I'm not gonna lie, because I was pissed. I was pissed. Like I'm just like, don't mess up my Marvel movies, because I'm thinking this was going to be like the new Ike Perlmutter
with Kevin Feige and mess up everything.
Because even though he wasn't over Disney, he was the CEO of Marvel at the time. Phase 1 of MCU was great. To be honest with you, in hindsight, phase 2 of MCU kind of sucked, with Iron Man 2, 3, Thor: The Dark World. The Avengers Age of Ultron was the worst, and that was because of him. I mean, he was also saying that he wanted to replace Terrence Howard with Don Cheadle, and he was like, nobody would tell the difference because black people all look the same or something stupid. It was ridiculous. And so when I initially heard this, I'm thinking this is going to be the new Ike Perlmutter. You know what I'm saying? It's going to cause Kevin Feige to quit, but you guys have changed my mind, and so I think I'm gonna take a little chill pill. And so, thank you for making my evening, a lot better. So I do appreciate that.
And you were also mentioning not having the executives in charge of the creative. Kevin Feige is an executive that is in charge of the creative. He is an executive. He is the executive. He is the executive in charge of Marvel Studios.
Yeah, but he is much more of a creative, in my opinion, than he is.
He's a creative that happens to be an executive.
Right. Yeah. He is much more creative, in my opinion. I ain't met the man and interviewed him, whatever. But I mean, that's just my opinion, though.
Right. But if they're simply saying, if the new guy's simply saying, go find me 2 or 3 more Kevin Feiges, that's what we need. We need the creatives that are also great executives. Go find. I mean, it's not like there's not a lot of them out there. Don't get me wrong. Creatives are creatives for a reason, and then you have business people that are business people for a reason. So when you find that combination of the two, it is a special thing. So he may be saying, go scour the universe and find me 2 or 3 more Kevin Feiges and bring them home, and let them run different parts of different parts of Disney. And you already have Kevin Feige with his Marvel Studios, and maybe they want somebody else that's in charge of the Disney specific properties like the Jungle Book and the Mickey Mouse movies and all the other stuff. And and then maybe you want someone else, because I know Disney said they're coming out with their more adult themed movies. I forgot the name of the studio they're supposed to be, that they're going to call it, but it's a more It's a more, very much more of a 18, 21. It's not like adult movies, but like stuff that's designed specifically for adults and not for children in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
And so I think when you bring people in that are both creatives and executives, you create this really magical situation like Kevin Feige has done with Marvel.
I got you. Well, guys, let's go ahead and thank you for that, Larry.